Cox Communications is proud to bring you Nebraska's 2nd District Republican debate from the Omaha Press Club in downtown Omaha.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gary Kerr, chairman of the Omaha Press Club's Education Committee. The Press Club sponsors monthly noon forums, which are open to the public. And today our noon forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Greater Omaha and the Press Club. It is a debate between 4 Republicans running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. The winner in the May primary will go on to face the winner of the Democratic primary in the November general election. Now, each candidate will get 1 minute and 30-second opening statements, 1 minute to respond to each question, and 30 seconds of rebuttal time with regard to each question. The candidates will be timed. Please turn off your cell phones, other electronic devices. Please no applause, cheering, hooting, etc. during the debate itself. But you can do that now as we invite the candidates to the podiums. Please welcome Jack Heidel, Glenn Freeman, Lee Terry, and Brett Lindstrom. What did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. We drew from a hat to determine the order of the opening statements, and we begin with Brett Lindstrom, followed by Lee Terry, Jack Heidel, and Glenn Freeman. So, Brett Lindstrom, you're up first.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Brett Lindstrom. I'm a lifelong Nebraskan. I grew up in Millard and graduated from Millard West High School. I had the opportunity to follow in my father's footsteps and his 2 brothers and play football down at the University of Nebraska. I'm a father and a husband, and my wife's here today. Welcome, Lee. And I'm a financial advisor by trade. And I've been working with a lot of retirees and people who are about to retire. And they're fearful of their future for their kids and grandkids. And I'm fearful as well, and that's why I got in this race. And I take issue with some of the bills that Congressman Terry has voted on the last couple years, whether it was the bailout of the banks in 2008, in the tune of $700 billion, and the debt increase of $2 trillion, which downgraded us for the first time in American history. Unlike one of my opponents, Jack Heidel, I'm not pro-choice, I'm 100% pro-life. And I would not vote for H.R. 3 or H.R. 358, which did give federal funds to Planned Parenthood. One of the things I'll fight on your behalf would be Social Security and maintaining that for future generations. Politicians have been raiding that for years, and we need to get that out of the general fund so that we can have that for our future generations. I would be willing to do that. If you're going to change the problems and fix the problems in this country, you're going to have to change the problem solvers. I'm willing to fight on your behalf, and I appreciate your vote May 15th. Thank you.
Lee Terry, your opening.
Thank you, and I'm worried about our future as a country. But I have confidence in the people of the United States that will rise up above this economic situation of the day. But Congress can help to assure future generations that they'll have an equal opportunity to prosper. But we've got to do certain things, like quit spending money we don't have. That's why I have voted 157 times just in the last 3 years to decrease spending that would have totaled $7 trillion. I think we need to balance the budget. That's why I led an effort to balance the budget, to have a balanced budget amendment, but that failed on a partisan vote. I think to make our American businesses more competitive in a global environment, we need to have a tax code that allows them to be competitive, and that's why I have voted for a flatter, simpler tax, removing all of the special interest tax breaks. Now, I think the crux, the foundational piece of a growing economy has to be energy. Using our own natural resources in the United States will create millions of jobs, keep $1 billion a day in the United States that we send overseas. The issue is, do we have the will to do this? That's where I fought this administration on energy and Obamacare and his spending, and I'll keep fighting for the people.
Jack Heidel, your opening statement.
The greatest threat to our national security is not some terrorist in a cave in Afghanistan. Rather, it is our own fiscal irresponsibility. These are the words of Mr. David Walker, the former Comptroller General of the United States and the CEO of Come Back America. When Mr. Terry first went to Congress in 1999, the national debt was $6 trillion. Now it is over $15 trillion and growing rapidly. Our national leaders have mortgaged the future of our country. You and I and our children will be paying interest on this huge debt forever. As a result, it will be difficult to find the funds we need for other pressing problems. Mr. Terry has been in office during the buildup of this enormous debt and therefore lacks credibility when he says that he is opposed to deficit spending. He is part of the problem and needs to be replaced. This is why I am a candidate for Congress. I am a non-ideological fiscal conservative, totally focused on eliminating the deficit. Send me to Congress, and I can and will work with others in both political parties to accomplish this urgent task.
Glenn Freeman, your opening statement.
First of all, let me thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen very carefully to what is being said here today. You heard it 14 years ago, the same thing. You heard it then. We have one problem in this country, just one. We have many, many issues. The problem that we have is not God-made, but man-made. The problem that we have is we elect individuals who come and tell us that they're going to do all kinds of things for us. But what they don't tell you and what they should do is support the Constitution. All of the issues that you have today, whether it be taxes, debt and the deficit, immigration, whatever, it is because Congress has not done its job. Now, we can go on and keep kicking the can down the road. We can let us politicians come to you every 2 years and tell us what they're going to do for us. But I want you to know they cannot do anything for you if they do not support the Constitution. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm a constitutionalist. I want you to remember that, and I want you to listen very carefully because you heard this song 14 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn Freeman. Let's go to our individual questions now, and our questions were prepared by a committee of the Press Club and the League of Women Voters, and the candidates have not seen them in advance. Glenn Freeman, the first question goes to you first, and I'm going to make some assumptions with regard to several questions, and if I'm wrong, I know you're going to let me know. I assume that all of you believe our deficit and debt problem should be fixed without any tax increases of any kind. Many experts believe that to achieve the debt reduction goal by relying only on spending cuts will require draconian cuts to many programs. Some government programs may have to be eliminated entirely. If you believe this is the proper course, what programs, departments, etc. would you cut? And please be very specific. And Glenn Freeman, you first, and then it's Jack Heidel, Lee Terry, and Brett Lindstrom.
What I would do, first of all, is take the Constitution and look at Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 8. And it tells you the things that the federal government should be doing. So I can stand here and name some, but it's not all inclusive. But I can give the Department of Education, Department of Energy, Urban Housing and Urban Development. All of those should be gotten rid of. Every single one of them. But there are many, many more. Many, many more. But the way to do it is take the Constitution, see what the Constitution said the federal government should be doing. And if the federal government is not doing it, stop it.
Jack Heidel.
First of all, to eliminate the deficit, we need to reform the budget process and get away from so-called baseline budgeting, whereby the budgets of every department go up by 3 or 4% every year. Just have a level it off. We start over each year and decide what programs need more money or less money, and so we have a flat field in that respect. Then, after reforming the budget process, I propose that we actually cut every single federal department by 10%, at least 10%. And this, in other words, this is in the, well, partly to be fair and not pick on any particular program or department, but to simply ask all the departments, the big departments, defense, agriculture, energy, education, and so on, to figure out what their priorities are, and decide what's more important and less important, and get by with 10% smaller budget in real dollars. And so this would be a huge step in the direction of eliminating the deficit.
Lee Terry.
Thank you. This is a really important issue in which one areas that you're going to cut. I have voted to reduce all of what we call our discretionary budget by at least 10%. In fact, we have an agreement to do 9%, and we're working to better that. The reality is 66% of our budget is 3 programs. They're entitlement programs. You can't just cut those, but you can reform them. In both the last year's budget and this year's budget, the same budget that Mr. Lindstrom has said that he would vote against, offered real reforms to the Social Security, to Medicare and Medicaid that would have saved trillions over 10 years. Those are the type of reforms that we need to make in the entitlement programs. The budget that I voted for reformed it to a defined benefit program. It also means tested it, and these are the type of reforms that we need to look at.
Brett Lindstrom.
Well, obviously, if you've been following the news, the GSA could make a few cuts. But looking at the scope and the magnitude of what we're in right now, we have $15.6 trillion in climbing, and certainly Congressman Terry's been there since 1999, and we had a balanced budget back in that time. I believe in giving the departments the ability to make those cuts. The heads of those departments, they know where the fat is, they know where to cut it. You asked specifically which department I would cut. I believe education is one place we can look. Getting those dollars back to the local levels so that parents, teachers, and local government entities can make better decisions for our students rather than a bureaucracy and a government. You start a dollar at the federal level, it has to go through different layers, and by the time it reaches that student, there's basically nothing left.
Now, we've got 30-second rebuttal times for each candidate, so let's do that. And Glenn Freeman, we start with you again.
Yeah, I want to say that what has happened is typical politician answer to you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to control this debt and deficit, it is going to hurt. Someone, and I don't know why you mean do it at equal or no one, it is going to hurt. Everyone. Everyone has got to contribute. Everyone has got to sacrifice for it. There's no other way to doing it. You can try to kick it down the road if you want to. But the only way to solve it, acknowledge the fact, yes, it's going to hurt.
Jack Heidel.
I agree with this statement that we're not going to be able to balance the budget, eliminate the deficit just by cutting spending alone. And let me just make a quick reference to the fact that the next thing we need to do, or in addition to cutting spending, we need to reform the tax code and do it in a way that we get the lowest possible overall tax rates, taxing all income, whether it be wage or investment, at the same rate, the same low rate, by eliminating deductions. And this would give the economy a big boost and thereby produce more revenue, which will help eliminate the deficit.
Lee Terry.
Well, I disagree with Mr. Freeman in the sense that getting rid of Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid will be the answer here. Reforms are the answer, but also growing the economy. So going to a flat and simpler tax that allows businesses to just expand will bring more revenues in. Allowing the trillions of dollars that are sitting overseas come back in 4 times what the stimulus program of the president that I fought against. Real private sector dollars. That will increase revenues because it increases tax, or not increase taxes, but revenues by way of economic development.
Brett Lindstrom.
Well, we have a spending problem in this country, not a revenue problem. And the budget that Congressman Terry was alluded to was 40 years out. I think we can do it faster. We need to do it faster. If not, we're in trouble. One of the things I'd like to work on is reforming the corporate tax code, currently at 35%, one of the highest in the world globally. To be competitive as far as the domestic nations, we need to be at or below 18.1% and get rid of the repatriation taxes so that multinational companies that are sending jobs and money overseas bring that money back and use it domestically.
All right, next question.